September 2020 video horoscopes for the 12 signs. I'm Lada from astrolada.com. Welcome to the craziest year and one of the tougher months. September, October, November, guys, months we're not gonna forget. And months of big spiritual growth. That's what we say to make you feel good. But indeed, you will see months where Saturn and Mars are square all the time. Mars is going retrograde this month, which means that some great feat of willpower will be required from us, and some great use of willpower, but we'll eventually will be able to achieve something tremendous by November, December, that we'll be so proud of. So we'll speak about each of the 12 signs, how Mars retrograde affects us. But just to let you know, me and Brian are making a fantastic webinar this September, in the middle of September. It's called speed reading the birth chart. So basically what it means to have the sun, moon, ascendant in different signs, how to tie them together, how to interpret the chart, what it means for you. And it's from the point of evolutionary astrology. I'm very excited about this webinar. Last webinar Brian did had 300 or 400 people, so, and it's 30% discounted. Come and join us to see how to quickly read the birth chart and what it means. It's for beginners, even for advanced or beginners. You don't need to know much astrology to understand it. Thank you so much. Let's start with the signs. Leo, rising sun or moon, September 2020, Mars is going retrograde in your 9th house, which is kind of supportive, to be honest. It's making good aspects to your planets if you have sun in Leo or ascendant or moon. So I think this Mars retrograde can be experienced in a smoother way for Leos than other signs, but still, because it is Mars, it's receiving difficult aspects, it's stressful. It's such a rare event for Mars to retrograde in your 10th house, in your 9th house. Happened last in 1989 or something like that. And it's not going to happen for 40 years ahead. So what it means, okay, let's see, what can I warn you about and what can be the positives of it. So it starts going retrograde on the 9th of September, but the whole September, you can feel it already. And it stays retrograde September, October, November, the middle of November. So for about 2 months, you can find yourself starting from September to be more easily agitated by what's happening in the world, because the 9th house rules worldly affairs, rules your whole outlook on the world, and your belief system. So some of you might find your belief systems being challenged. How you perceive reality to be. Retrograde planet requires you to re-examine that. You might even feel challenged, like attacked in your belief systems by others in some way. And there might be cracks starting to appear in how you perceive reality. And if you are flexible, which retrograde planet requires, and you're willing to see things from a different perspective in regards to the world, your belief system, what is possible, the future, 9th house rules how you envision your future as well. So you might be challenged this, so you have to restructure that. You have to reorganize it in a different way for the next 2-3 months. And if you're flexible in that, you might end up by November, by the middle of November, December, with a way more healthier belief system, way more healthier and logical and better plan for your future overall. But the retrograde period can be like a preparation, researching different alternatives, different modes of study, of knowledge, because you're replanning your future in a different way. 9th house is future oriented. Sometimes people have noticed that they start, when Mars has gone retrograde in their 9th house, they start questioning whether if they're in the right field of studies, for example, or deciding to retake some old studies and knowledge and courses and classes, to revisit them, to revise them, to go deeper in them. So that's another good thing to do, actually. Some of you might have more challenging times that requires 3 times more efforts with studies, with higher knowledge, with university degrees of some sort. You know, there might be some challenges coming from a professor figure, mentor figure to you, that's creating a stress with you of some sort. Or just that if you're in the right field of studies, as I said, you might be revising all studies, so just 3 times more effort is needed and more exertion for some, you know, for some university studies or higher knowledge or pre-qualifying studies. So that's where the stress might be coming from, that the extra exertion you have to put there, but the final results can be 3 times better. So now you can basically you can achieve some career, some study project, or some knowledge improvement project that gives you so much better future opportunities after that, and you probably might complete it by, by the end of the year or something like that, or it becomes easier by December. On another level, the ninth house is teaching. Some of you, like just like I'm Leo Moon, might be really hard at having to use 3 times more efforts and exertion for some teaching project, or some preparing some teaching projects, or some work about that requires a lot of effort and self-discipline as well, because Mars is like a soldier. In regards to spreading knowledge, in regards to some international project, educational project, higher knowledge project. But as I said, you might feel like you are becoming very preachy with Mars retrograde in your ninth house. And because of that, you might feel attacked by others. It creates certain, Saturn is squaring your Mars, certain resentment with others. You might be trying to preach and help those in need, Saturn in the sixth house, and you feel attacked by them. And you feel that the opposite of you're trying to make good efforts, but you're being kind of blind, was like blocked in some way. But again, if you overcome those, or you might be working on some studies or whatever, and Saturn squaring from the sixth house, that you have to use a lot of kind of discipline, self-organization of some sort, overcome certain bureaucratic or work obstacles, or work environment obstacles as well. But when you complete those, I think you have like 3 times better projects, educational, higher knowledge or wisdom by the middle of November. But the hard work, and funny enough, for 2 months while Mars is retrograde, I'm recording the 2020 videos, and that's teaching, preaching. It's like, it's going to be such hard work. 2021, sorry. But it might play out in a different way. I don't know. If you're also trying to relocate to a foreign country, or relocation, ninth house, moving in a sense, especially a bit further away than where you live, different state, Mars retrograde, they can delay things a little bit, or can make them more tense, more stressful. It doesn't mean they cannot happen. It just, they will require 3 times more exertion. Father figures is also ninth house. 10th and ninth house are father figures. There can be some tension with the father figure, some stress or some crisis that happens in the life of a father figure, or in your relationships with a father figure as well. So again, what is the best approach with teacher figure, father figures, or ninth house is also judges and what's that called? Like the law system. So if you're having any dealings with judges and father figures and teachers of any sort, it can get heated. It can require 3 times more effort. Some projects can get delayed. Some battle might be going on there, and the best course of approach is to be more patient and not to respond too spontaneously, but in a more planned manner, so you don't regret after that. And because if you're very spontaneous and act like Mars direct, like it will really escalate those problems that can last for a few months. But if you're more strategic, bite your tongue back, react a bit more, like Mars in Scorpio rather than Mars in Aries, in an indirect way. The retrograde planet acts in indirect way, then you can diffuse some of the tension. And and also ninth house is your opinions. Again, you might be fighting with others because of you definitely find it very hard to reconcile your opinions with others, because you have very strong beliefs now. And when Mars goes retrograde, it can create a crisis situation with you and other people. And not only that, but you can be so angry about what's happening in the world. You can feel like, I just want to show everyone or shout what this kind of, and Mars, it's very hard, Mars, to see another point of view. And when it's retrograde and in the ninth house of opinions, you see what can happen. So that's the things that I can warn you about. But the good side is, if you're working on any studies, higher knowledge, teaching project, import-export projects, pre-qualification. You can really deepen when Mars is retrograde those activities. Yes, they'll require a lot of efforts, but the final result, if you put the necessary efforts and you don't basically get uh, deflated, can be extremely powerful, 3 times as more powerful and positive. And something also is happening to rewire your whole mind and your whole thinking. Uh, and something is definitely starting to, something in your belief systems, because they're starting to change in your how outlook on the world and your life is starting to change when Mars goes retrograde. You can even have some kind of a spiritual crisis for a little bit about the meaning of life and purpose, but you can come up with way more logical and sensible and efficient belief system that is more constructive, that is more that gives you more internal strength, and that gives you more faith in life, more enthusiasm about life, which is the high octave of Mars. Um, but another thing is that you might want to be fighting for some moral cause when Mars is retrograde in the 10th house. You can feel very high on your moral horse, and or you might get very into some a bit religious bigotry as well, or extreme religious beliefs. I'm not saying it's bad, you know, if you're not harming anyone, but you can really go deep on uh, empowering yourself through connection to higher power, and exerting more efforts to connect to higher power, to God, to higher vision, or even starting to do some exercises for visualization for the future, for expanded vision of the future. The ninth house is this house of I'm very much connected to the law of attraction. When you believe bigger is possible, you start attracting it, and Mars retrograde wants you to revisit such kind of an belief systems that are limiting in some way, and destroy them even. Mars retrograde is not afraid to destroy something, and to give you more combative approach to life, more confidence as well, you know, more optimism, more faith generally. So by the end of this process, you can emerge out of there more full of confidence, more full of faith, more full of kind of almost like I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I'm starting to get tired. But you might be called to be God's warrior for some reason, or a philosopher for the next 2-3 months, and bring some fire into the minds of others to expand their minds as well. That's another possibility that can happen. Okay, and there is some very good influence for you this month, though, and it is Venus is in your sign Leo, so it's going to be helping you, and it's going to help to diffuse some of this tension that you might be feeling from Mars in the ninth house, this combativeness there, this more stressful situation. And Venus can make you more cooperative, more loving, more beautiful. A lot of you might feel way more attractive by the end of this month. You can do some self-loving, some self-caring, for example, like beauty therapies, like going to a hairstylist, like doing something to your face, or just giving yourself more self-love. Also, it can bring, generally, Venus is planet of love. It can make you more loving and likable, and you can attract support as well because of that, or uh, you can just feel a bit more relieved and cooler and calmer and zen when Venus transits. Well, of course, don't forget Mars is retrograde, so there is a lot of things to provoke you, but Venus is helping tone it down a little bit. It can also bring some pleasant experience of luxury, of indulgence, of sensual pleasures of some sort, and a bit more love. It can definitely bring more loving experiences to you, a romantic date of some sort as well. Something good that comes to you uh, from the five senses, from even a bit more money. Venus is known as a planet of money, of financial pleasures, of financial gains as well. So that's a possibility. It passes there very fast, but you know, this is one of the best. The best planet this month is Venus, because it's not having stressful, positions, retrograde, whatever. So it blesses you with, it's loving, pleasure giving, and enjoyment giving abilities. And what else is happening, Leo? uh, Mercury is in your third house, so there can be some short trip that happens for you, some communication, a lot of exchange on social media, information, knowledge that you're bringing in. This third nine axis is activated by Mars and Mercury. So your mind will be quite hectic, quite busy. Even business, third house is connected to business. Will be going actually good, fast there. Activities there, your mind will feel quite fast as well, quite skillful. You're going to be called to use your skills, and it will come very easy to you to be very alert, very agile with your skills, come across cleverer than normal. um, and of course, Saturn is stationary in your sixth house, so you can feel like matters connected to the sixth house are really escalating, feeling quite tense in regards to health, in regards to matters connected to work. You might feel a lot of pressure from work, like heavy responsibilities or duties, but also that things are a bit stagnant and stuck as well. But Saturn starts moving direct from the end of September. I don't think you'll feel it before October. So it can give a relief from October onwards on some health issues, from some work, extra pressure at work and responsibilities, um, and certain duties, which are, I think they're quite heavy in September, because Saturn is stationary. Stationary planet becomes like 3 times stronger as well. It's like this heavy energy there of responsibility, duty. But you can also be called to do something really important that requires a lot of self-discipline and self-denial. When Mars becomes stationary, I always say people, these are the best months, the best times of the year to deny yourself something, and to be able to stick with it. And as you know, spiritual progress comes only through self-denial in certain areas. But in the sixth house, you can deny yourself in the name of health, and you can really have some sticking power, sticking disciplining ability to stick with your decision in regards to health, whether it's quitting a bad habit, whether it's to deny yourself of something in the name of overcoming an addiction, in the name of healthier lifestyle. So you're going to have a stronger no power than other times in the sixth house. You can use it wisely, and also to achieve, to really work hard on some work project, to get done with some responsibilities, even though they'll feel slow and heavy. But when Saturn starts moving forward, things start moving faster as well from October onwards, and will become easier. But September is where you're called to use the most willpower there, or the most self-denial, so to speak. And the results will come when Saturn starts moving direct. You're going to start seeing them in October. Better results with your work, feeling rewarded for the hard work you've done, or for the health, the self-denial that you did for certain health situations, that it can start getting easier and easier from October. So thank you so much, Leos. Hope that was helpful. And do join me and Brian, How to Speed, read the birth chart in September. A phenomenal, fantastic webinar. All webinars with Brian are, we haven't had a single refund for those. And it's like, for a webinar, he would sell 500 seats, because he's a phenomenal teacher. Thank you so much.